What's up, all my gamer frangulums? Today, I'm not dropping any news to report. I'm just going to make a commentary on something that I read online earlier today. Somebody wrote a completely asinine article that I felt like doing a commentary on it because when I read it, I was like, this person can't be serious. And we're going to get into all of that after the intro. So, of course, you know what you just got to do. Hit the like and hit the subscribe button. But over here on The Gamer, written by Andrew King, who I am calling out. Regardless, he's not going to see this, but whatever. But this is a website called The Gamer. And when I first saw this, I thought maybe I was reading it wrong. But right here, as the title says, Halo failing gives me hope. Game adaptations aren't the future. I was like, well, he must mean R, but apparently no. So let's dig into this article written by Mr. Andrew King. Last week saw Paramount announce that its Halo show was canceled. This isn't especially surprising. The show never found a groove or engaged a big audience, but shouldn't it be surprising? How could Halo possibly flop? Video games are only a handful of franchises with the name recognition and cultural clout that Halo commands. Sure, it isn't at the apex of its popularity right now, but the legacy is strong and it remains Xbox flagship franchise, even if Xbox as a whole has limped along in a diminished state for several generations now. But this is Halo. It defined console first-person shooters, was hugely popular, and is important to Microsoft as is Mario is to Nintendo. So it's kind of wild that the Halo series has been unceremoniously canceled after 2 seasons. A live-action adaptation was kicked around for decades, and in the end it suffered the same fate as So Help Me Todd. I don't know what the hell that means, So Help Me Todd. Look, I'm really rooting for the creative people TV on a series to fail. There are rare exceptions, but generally I want Hollywood to continue to make good, commercially successful projects. I want the industry to thrive. So while I'm rarely rooting against a specific project, I am often rooting against trends. So that just makes them sound like, well, it's a trend, so I automatically don't like it. And with the Super Mario Bros. Movie dominating theaters last year and The Last of Us gunning to the top of HBO's viewership, we've been in serious danger of video games becoming the next comic books. The source text du jour for Idea-less Hollywood executives. I love video games, but as someone who also loves original movies, mid-budget movies, and movies for grown-ups, video games taking over for comics would be creative poison. It isn't that I dislike movies and TVs based on video games. Since the trend kicked into gear back in 2019-2020 with the release of Pokemon, Sonic, I've enjoyed a few. Last of Us and ignored the ones that didn't interest me. Twisted Metal, I watched it and I still liked it. Since the 80s, Hollywood has been increasingly hot for IP. The superhero trend, which gathered steam in the late 90s, success of X-Men, Blade, and Spider-Man. Well, first off, X-Men came out in 2000. And Spider-Man 2002. Blade came out in 98, so that's the only one that's late 90s. So you're already getting your facts wrong. But that was kicked into overdrive with the twin blockbusters of The Dark Knight and Iron Man. Since that fateful year, we've seen movies increasingly cater to the taste of 15 to 25-year-old guys, with the elevation of superhero movies and mega franchises in the near complete exclusion of all of them. Well, I don't disagree with the fact that they've taken over, and I was into MCU movies for a while, but now they're just getting so stale and it's not interesting to me anymore. The video games, for me, is exciting for that reason. Something that I really love. Like, I liked comics, but I love video games way more, and now they're starting to get really good adaptations, and to me, that's all that matters. Something good is happening with game franchises. And these movie releases and show release actually helps the IP itself become popular again. Perfect example would be Fallout. The show came out and it made the games spike in popularity on Steam. Halo's failure points to a future where nothing is certain. This started to change in 2023 as Barbie and Oppenheimer signal a shift for Hollywood, promising a future where female audiences and grown-up audience will turn out for fresh, if not entirely original in other case, movies. But the movie that landed between Barbie and Oppenheimer at the global box office last year warned of a different future. The Super Mario Bros. Movie pointed to be more of the same. a slightly different source text. Five Nights at Freddy was also a big hit that fed the feeling we were heading for a world where everything is basically the same. But with cameos from Cliffy B, not Stanley, I certainly hope not. Considering that Cliffy B only did like the Gears of War series from what's being potentially adapted. So once again, maybe that's just a joke, but it's a dumb joke because Stanley had his fingers in lots of different comics. Cliffy B is mostly known for the Gears of War franchise, which does have adaptations coming out, but not yet. Halo's failure calls that wisdom into question. If Halo isn't a sure thing, is anything, it points to a more hopeful perspective that may seem initially hopeless. There are no sure things. Marvel can flop. The Marvels. DC can flop. The Flash. Big story prequels can flop. Furious and TV shows based on some of the most popular. One show has flopped. Most other shows that have come out in the past few years are doing well. This is the only one that didn't. But of course, we're all just going to focus on it. Also, because it's also an Xbox IP, and Xbox gets unfairly dumped on in the gaming industry all the time. So even right now, there's people that are probably like, well, this is Xbox fault, even though they didn't really have anything to do with this other than 343, the developers of the game, being involved in the production. It ends with nothing is a done deal, which means that everything is risky. And when movies based on comic books or video games or half-century old IP can flop, there's no downside to greenlighting something entirely new. Yeah, other than the fact that they're terrified to do that because they're going to lose money. My main gripe with this article is how this Andrew King guy kind of just sounds like he's being selfish in a way almost. I want them to fail, so when I go to the movies, I can see something that's new or isn't a franchise, and I'm like, what world are you living in where movies release small independent films? That rarely happens now, and it's been that way for a while. Whether it's video games that's next to big thing, maybe it's something else. I'm just happy as a gamer, a lifelong gamer, that this is even happening. To me, I love the idea that it could take over the box office, honestly. I mean, I don't go to the theater for like smaller movies, and I doubt you do too. Like, hardly anyone goes to the theater unless it's to like a local, smaller art house place or something that plays like really obscure stuff or has like, midnight showings of cult movies. This guy is talking like he has no idea how the general audience theater movies work. Obviously, they're going to want to put out movies that they hope makes tons of money, hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars all over the world. I love video games, but as someone who also loves original movies, mid-budget movies, and movies for grown-ups, video games are taking over for comics would be creative poison. Movies like that are hardly ever going to get released in theater anymore. That's why streaming has become the place for a lot of lower budget stuff, and that's just how it is. Articles like this are almost like, what's the point? Like, maybe he's the managing editor of the site, so he can write whatever dumb shit he wants to write. But this is straight up just a selfish and complaining interview of another self-centered millennial or Gen dickhead. I don't want to go to the theater and just only see comic video game movies. I want to go see the latest movie by David Lynch movie, which is really boring, incomprehensible garbage. I would rather spend, the ridiculous prices to go to a bigger movie and not some be little hour and a half long indie film. I wouldn't spend money on that. And one of the best thing about these already popular gaming franchises coming out is that lots of people who love the games are going to go see it automatically. Just like with the comics. People who love the comics go saw the movies. And maybe in 10 years, that's what's going to happen to video games. And I would love it. I'd love to see whatever comes out next. I mean, this is completely 100% why I started my channel. But it is also a bummer that Halo got canceled because I thought Season 2 was way better than Season 1. But a lot of people immediately hated the show because Chief took off his helmet. That's a debate that's been done to death. But this Andrew King guy needs to give his balls a tug, wake up to the reality that nobody wants to go to theaters to watch little indie movies. That's what your local art house theater for pretentious snobs is for. But that was my little commentary rant, so what, on this article that I think is pretty stupid. I'm not saying Andrew King is stupid, but he sounds like a whiny baby to me. I don't know. I don't agree with what he's saying, but that's life. People don't agree on everything. I'm not going to straight up say he's a dumb idiot just because we don't agree on things. And yeah, now I don't think I do like him because he has a fucking man bun, and man buns are ridiculous. Seriously, guys, all of you with man bun, give your fucking balls a tug. For the love of God. Now, I do think he's an idiot, but he also was a freelancer with GameSpot and Polygon. So, Mr. Andrew King, cut off your man bun and give your balls a tug and change your diaper, you whiny baby. You should just be embracing it instead of complaining about it. If you are truly a lover of games, you should be happy about what's happening instead of crying about it. But that's it for me, all my gamer friends. I would love for you to comment on this and let me know what you think. Do you agree or disagree with Mr. Andrew King's opinion? I clearly don't, but I'd love you to let me know. I also love for you to like and subscribe. But of course, above all else, I would also love for you to keep gaming.